Okay, my name's Clay Blair. I'm with Collierville Fire Department in Tennessee. We're a Class 3 team, and we were deployed down here last week to help out with the floods. And we're glad to be here to help the state of New Mexico because it's been some devastating floods and fires. So,
I'm Jim Laws. I'm Millington Fire Department. We're classified as a Class 3, just like Collierville. We were the first one in the state last year to get deployable. So we were able to, come on down here and try to help out as much as we could. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tommy Hall with Arkansas Task Force 1. We deployed the same time they did. We got here last Saturday. We actually deployed as two top 3 teams. We came down with 15 personnel, 12 Swiftwater techs, and 3 support personnel. I'm actually one of the support personnel. I'm the STM or search team manager for the team. My whole job is to sit on a computer and I run a program called SARCOP that we use to orchestrate and manage different assets for search and rescue. And it just keeps us in the right spot at the right time.
I'm Chad Davis, same as we're Arkansas Task Force. I've been with our department in about 23 years, and our task force team going on about 12 to 15, I guess. I just kind of fill in where I'm needed with the department here, and just help out wherever I can.
so when we rolled in town last Saturday, we hit the ground running. Saturday afternoon, we actually had some flood waters come down. It wasn't as bad, but when Sunday hit, it was devastating. Anything on the low ground flooded. A lot of trailer parks were flooded. It's just sad to see the high side of the mountains have been burnt out, and then the floods are devastating the low side. So it's New Mexico here. It's been hit very, very hard. But like I said, we're glad to help. That's why we're here. We're many, many miles away from home, and we're all here representing different states, but we're here happily to work hard for New Mexico while we're here. Where we're at, yeah, it's really green. It's really hot. It's probably 98 degrees today with the humidity probably roughly in the 90s. We did have a little rain yesterday, but we do occasionally have some floods. All these guys here have rivers run through their cities and towns, and a lot of times we'll do swiftwater rescues or flood waters back home. So
Yeah, we've actually had, our teams have had swiftwater rescues last night. We had
Really?
Hurricane Beryl is spinning off right now into our state, so we had 5 inches of rain last night. I just heard that from my wife this morning.
That's
So,
wild,
and there
man.
was
Yeah.
some tornadoes in the area
Oh, really?
last night. There was. Yes.
And are you in Arkansas or
Yes,
Tennessee?
we're Central Arkansas.
You're Central Arkansas.
I mean, our department is in Central Arkansas.
Okay.
Me and Tommy, we respond from different parts of the state. Our team is comprised of about, I guess, we got, Tommy, 130 members?
I believe a central team is made up of 130 members, and then there's also a Northwest team
A Northwest
based
team.
out of Fayetteville.
They left Northwest, our other team in Northwest Arkansas. They were here, but they have gone home right now. So,
We've
And
got,
so far everybody's good, safe. Everybody's
so
just handling business.
Yep.
yeah.
I saw y'all doing some exercises outside. Was that y'all?
Yep, it
Yeah.
was. And so what we do, we always try to keep hands-on skills up. So even when we have a little downtime, we're training, preparing in case we're needed this afternoon with the rains coming in. So it's all hands-on. It's not just come out and just sit around. We're all the time practicing, preparing, and getting ready for an event.
we get requested through an EMAC system, which is a nationwide. It's almost like a website for rescue teams,
Okay.
USAR teams, FEMA USAR teams, state USAR teams. But if you're asking why, the reason personally for each of us, I think it's just a desire to help. Yes, the way it works is a state or a community that's having a disaster happen will say your community reaches out to the state and they say, hey, we need this asset for this type of rescue, and then they'll put it out on the EMAC requesting teams, and in this case they requested a number of top 3 Swiftwater teams, and that goes through the NIMS typing system, which is a big federal orchestration. But and in response to that, teams will respond and say, I have this, we can be there on this day, and it lays out all the logistical needs and costs associated with that deployment. And then both sides, each state has to agree on it. And then once it's agreed upon, then we gather and we deploy. We're pretty well versed in how we orchestrate and coordinate our efforts. This Saturday, we actually traded out half of our team because we were extended an additional week beyond the original contract or EMAC agreement. We had some team members come from Little Rock and Conway here, and then we sent team members from Northwest Arkansas back.
Okay.
You know, one of the things you find out nationwide is when firemen get together, they work good together. Everybody has their own, they have an agenda, and that's to help and to benefit. So we all communicate and work well. Like, we didn't know any of these Arkansas teams before they got here, and we've all made, you know, really good friends, and we work hand in hand with them. So
we've been incredibly blessed with this deployment to have such good, not only campmates, but additional rescue teams to work with. Everybody seems to have meshed really well. We're all speaking the same language. We're all on the same page, and we're all working towards the same goal.
And it's that level 3. Is that the high? Is that top tier? Is that top level stuff? What is that?
No, sir. It actually goes to top. There's tiers 1, 2, and 3, or type 1, 2, and 3 in the NIMS typing, and it all has to do with number of personnel and certain types of equipment. And it varies from discipline to discipline as to what that requirement is.
Okay.
Top 3 is really the lowest level,
Okay.
the most basic level of that group, which is 6 personnel, 1 boat, and that makes up one top 3 team. A top 1 would include more personnel, more watercraft, with additional support and logistical personnel and equipment.
We're not just water teams either. You know, we have structure collapse, confined space teams, search and rescue teams, just ground and pound. You know, there's different disciplines in our team.
That's right. Most USAR teams, including ourselves, are what we call all hazards. So everything from structural collapse to trench collapse to high angle rescue to hazmat, WMD. We respond to a variety of different, and where our capabilities start as a USAR team, we're really meant to be, we're not first responders necessarily, we're second or third responders. So your community responders have already been in it, and their resources are wearing thin, or maybe they've gone beyond the capabilities of their agency. That's where our capabilities start, is where theirs end. We've got more advanced training, more advanced equipment, more personnel to throw at a problem, where a department, even a big department, such as Little Rock or Collierville or Jonesboro, will be able to put 30, 40 guys at it pretty quick. We can throw anywhere from 130 to 200 people at it with complements of equipment to properly utilize that resource within. In Arkansas, we try to be able to be anywhere in the state within 4 hours.
You know, it's pretty amazing too, and I want to give a shout out to the state of Tennessee and our hometown Collierville, and I'm sure these guys do as well. You know, our chief, John Selberg, he's very proactive with this. They've worked really hard to get us classified as a Type 3 swiftwater rescue team, so we are deployable. But it's a huge support back home for them to allow us to come out this far. So.
How's everybody doing as far as missing home?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm missing it pretty good. It's been about 14, 15 days since we've been there, been back home. And I've got a little girl that just turned 16 and got her driver's license, and she's wanting me to get home where I can try to buy her a car.
Yeah, well, I think we're all in that boat. It's been 3 weeks since I've seen my kids for any length of time. They were on a vacation, and then I got the call for this. They got home on Friday at 9 o'clock, and I left the house at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And then we drove, 15 hours to get here. And
I was working the overtime shift when I got deployed, and they're like, you need to find somebody for coverage the rest of the shift so I could be ready to leave the next morning. And I'm in the middle of building a home, so I handed that to my wife, and I have a friend that's retired, and he's helping her. And, you know, we have strong families at home. I think everybody pretty much can wants to give our families credit. You know,
Absolutely.
I know I sure do. We've
Absolutely.
got strong wives behind us, and that's what enables us to really do what we do.
Because it's a major sacrifice for them.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
they knew when they married us, firemen are going to be firemen, and anytime there's any need for help anywhere, we're ready and prepared to go. But when it gets to be a extended stay, you know, I've got a garden going on at home, and my wife's having to stay in the garden day in and day out, and so they're missing us big time.
Right now, we're contracted to leave. Our travel day is to be the 14th. Our last day of operation is Saturday, the 13th. That could change at any moment, just like we were slated to leave the day or the day after that we actually got the extension notice when they told us, "Hey, you're going to stay another week." And that's good. That means that we're doing our job and that they need us and that there's still a need there, and that's why we're here. But obviously, you know, everybody was missing home a little bit, and that was a hard phone call to make.
That's a tough phone call.
It's helped tremendously staying where we're here at the.
Absolutely, the Healing Heroes,
Healing Heroes
has been amazing to us.
Yes.
This is an incredibly blessing to be in this facility with your father and your family out here. They have been amazing to us, and we've had the ability to have space to check our gear, do PT, do training, like you said, out here in the side yard, and they feed us better than we eat at home, probably. I don't think anybody's lost weight since they've been here. It's been incredible, and your family and this operation is absolutely amazing.
Yes. It's kind of like we're getting a little therapy out of this for ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
Being here,
mountains
and just being with our guys and it's really been a blessing, and it helps being away from home, having that tremendously. Sometimes we could be in a tent meeting MREs.
Yeah.
Our first night here, we spent the night down the road on cots, and I'm glad to be here. Let's just say
Yeah,
that.
100%.
When we deploy, we actually have to be self-sustained for the duration of our contract. So we have to be able to feed ourselves, have water to drink and bathe and all that stuff, and place to sleep, a tent, cots, sleeping bag, all that has to be brought with us. Because a lot of the places we go to, the infrastructure that was there before the disaster happened is no longer there. And we aren't here to be a consumer. We're here to be a net positive, to produce a result that's desired. We're not here to actually draw from the local resources. We're here to apply resources to the area.
The hospitality that's been felt here is amazing, not only from Healing Heroes, also from the town itself. It's been very complimenting.
Of Ruidoso?
Yeah, 100%. It's amazing the people that the appreciation they're showing to the first responders and the guys and gals that are out here that are working. It's just been overwhelming.
When you heard about what was going on, what did you initially hear? Did you hear Bluetooth, or what did you hear initially that got you like something's going on in New Mexico?
To be honest, I didn't know anything was happening. When I got the call, and as sad as that is, it's impossible to everybody's got their own things going on. I was actually working out in the farm that we have in Arkansas, and I got the text message from Mr. Keithley, and he said, "Hey, we've got a possible deployment to New Mexico for flooding," which was not something I ever thought that I would hear. But he said, "Are you in?" And I said, "Absolutely, I'll be in." And then he had already assembled the rest of the team, and the next day we got the go-ahead. And this was as close to a no-notice deployment as we get. No-notice deployment for us is essentially a life-threatening emergency. You got to roll now, get to your muster point, get your equipment, and go. And this was just about as close to that as we can get without it being a no-notice.
It's a big decision to make really fast.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pieces you got to put together. We've all got families. We've got
going down the road.
Obligations that we now have to push back, and also we got to call. Like, I've got to call my chief and say, "Hey, this is happening. Are you okay with it?" And I've got to get approval from him, because that means we're not going to be there in our normal capacity at work. And we all work at fire departments, and especially these guys that work on shift. Somebody's got to fill that spot. Those are the city's obligated to have that spot filled, and that has to happen all before we leave. I'm fortunate in the fact that I work in days. I'm in the training division, so nobody's got to fill my spot. I'm not important enough to have to replace, so I can just cut out and they just deal with it.
It's
Yes,
all
sir.
about the mission, though. The mission is to help people in need, and that's all it is.
Absolutely.
It's mainly about the mission.
That's right.
And
It's
nobody-
also just about our own mindset. If we don't have the mindset that says, "Hey, we're here to help. We're not going to leave until the help is not needed," then
Yeah. Everybody here's a go-getter, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the situation here is kind of peculiar compared to what we're used to. It's not a sustained, ongoing threat that we're constantly working against, like a large scale flood, like what we're used to in our area, with the Mississippi River Valley and everything. It's a looming potential threat.
Day by day.
So we'll have maybe 30 minutes of rainfall that could cause a lot of issues, and it's been very refreshing for us to see the differences in emergencies, because this is not something we have in our part of the world. When it floods with us, it's the water's up for 2 weeks. Here it might be 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's been very interesting to see the differences in the emergency and the type of flooding that you have here.
The good thing is, though, if it happens again, we're already more prepped,
Oh, really?
very much more prepped now than we would be before.
Okay.
Very much so.
Yeah, because coming out to New Mexico, none of us knew anything about any of the infrastructure, any of the roads or anything like that. So we've had to learn all that stuff.
Okay.
And so we've spent a lot of time just riding and reconning the area for the high potential floods or where the water's going to go. So it's taken a lot of homework for us to get adapted to this out here because nobody knew.
Yeah.
As far as numbers and houses, I don't have that number.
Yeah.
I do know that on that Sunday, just Millington and Collierville alone, and also El Paso and Conroe, they were here too from Texas. Those were the 4 teams that were here before these guys. They were over in
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Before they got here, we had roughly 40 contacts, what they call rescue contacts. So we either rescued people out of houses or we made contact with people in houses. That's in one afternoon.
Wow.
So it was pretty busy and, all hands on.
It's about the mission. It's about helping people.
Yeah.
It's all about the mindset. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And everybody here has their own tasks and their own jobs and training for those tasks, and they draw on experience from the past, and everybody just looks at the next thing, and we just get the next thing done. And that's really not just our teams and the guys that we came here with. That goes for the guys in the EOC, Texas Instant Stabilization Team that's running out of the state EOC, the guys up in Las Vegas, the National Guard,
And
Ruidoso Village, Ruidoso proper. I mean, all of it has been, everybody's been on their game, and they've really, really stepped up to help the community. And it's been
100%.
incredible to see
Yeah.
the mesh of people that have come together and been able to work together seemingly flawlessly. It's kind of crazy when you see it all happen, this flurry of activity from all these different people that speak different lingos and different terminologies, and they all come together and make one common thing work. It's been really, really impressive to see and witness.
It's not even the first responders. It's also been the community itself. As soon as the floods came through, everything washed down. The public crews came in. You can tell it's a ski town because they got all the graders on the front of the trucks, the graders on the bulldozers. They came in immediately and started clearing the roads, and everything started, like you said, coming together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been amazing.
And it's like I said, we've got 3 different National Guard units that are operating with us. We've got a helo unit that's attached to us, and they're here for aerial rescue if they need to pull somebody off a roof or out of a high point in the flood. We've got high water vehicles that are also attached to us in a way that can go through higher water than we can drive through in normal vehicles, and then you've got the National Guard units that are filling sandbags and clearing debris and clearing roads and stuff like that. It's been incredible to see all that work together.
But
I would
Not
come
really.
back. I would come back
I'm
if I could.
I'm coming back this fall probably.
Yeah.
100%.
I
Every one of y'all got a place to stay.
I have absolutely fell in love with the
Okay?
state of New Mexico, the people here, the terrain, the wildlife, just everything about it. It is not at all what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but it was not this.
I
have-
100% agree. It's amazing out here. Anywhere from the weather, like I said, we've just getting a relief from the hot weather back home. And, but like I said, it's been all hands on, and it's been really good. It's amazing, beautiful place out here. Old country boy like myself hadn't seen the mountains like this.
Yeah.
And to see these mountains and things is overwhelming. So.
We were talking the other night, and I said, "Man, why'd we stay where we've been? This is out here, and nobody told me what happened."
Right. That's right.
The tourism has not stopped. Even as we were running all those calls Saturday and Sunday, the tourism has steadily, right inside town, they're steadily driving, going, doing. The whole entire time it was raining, I mean, it was just steady, never stopped.
And this
Can't
last
stop
week and a
moving
half,
around.
it seems like every day there's more and more people in town, and so I think Ruidoso is going to be all right.
Yeah, I think so.
We
Yeah.
definitely see why.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place, man. Especially Ruidoso, stuff.
Well, we just want to thank Eddie and the Healing for Heroes and y'all for having us. It's just
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a better situation for us to be in. When we break down and come back to the base of operation, it's usually when we have these deployments, it's kind of like, I've got a cot to go back to, or I've got a hotel that I could pretty much just sit in the hotel room and wait on our next operational period. With here, we really have a place to not only have, a group meeting and have our briefings and have our training and everything, but really come together and have a meal together and sit down and have great conversations, and it's been amazing. And Eddie's he's just one of the best people in the world. He's such a good person. Kind of makes you feel bad about being yourself, but and this whole operation is just incredible, and it's something to be proud of.
It's truly a blessing, no doubt about it, what Mr. Eddie's doing. It's a blessing.
Thank you.
I'd encourage anybody to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
We're going to try our best to promote it. When we get back home, we're going to try our best to
Yeah,
promote as much as we
appreciate
can.
it. We'll send you with a stack of flyers, okay?
It's definitely needed too, worldwide.
Yeah.
It definitely is. So.
That's
Yeah,
what
they're-
he says. He
The
is-
world needs more people like Eddie.
Yeah.
It's just that's the fact. This place and him, and it's just been incredible to see. Shout out to all the teams that we worked with in the beginning. We had Fort Worth Swiftwater team that got sent back to Texas for the hurricane, as well as Gainesville, Texas, El Paso, Conroe, Tennessee one, which is still up in Las Vegas out of Madison County, Tennessee. These guys have been amazing. I've learned so much from them. They're just a wealth of knowledge that it's been incredible. Right down to the Texas IST teams. The Kevin that was here before, and then now we've got Landon Stallings. He's running the IST now. It's just been awesome. It's just a group of amazing people that it's been a pleasure to work with each and every one of them, and I can't imagine a better situation for this deployment, for us at least.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's
Thank
been
you guys.
great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Go.